Good morning. If you don't mind, please oblige me as you stand up just for a moment. And make sure that there's ample space where you are to move a little bit. I hope you don't mind. So I like movement. Just for a short little while. Is there enough space? All right. I hope there is. Okay. Can you please help me? Just hold on to this for me. Can you just hold on to this for me? So we're going to spell coconut using our... Is there enough space? Yeah, we just learned about language development, right? So let's spell coconut using our bodies. How do we spell coconut? First, in C. Remember, C, the steam. It's not like this. It's a nice curve, so even your body must curve nicely with it. O, and then C on the other right, and then O, and here for the letter A, ne? Not the one that bends over, but the capital letter. So you stretch up, and then you touch the up. E, U, T. We've got the other laser got there. Let's try what C is. O, C, O, and the other side. Chi. Popo. Popo. I hope you are feeling a little bit stretched. I just want to read two scriptures that are pertinent for this conversation that we're going to have. The first one is Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 7. I believe you would know this one. It says, "So I prophesied as I was commanded, and I was prophesying, and there was a noise, rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. So I prophesied as I was commanded." Then the other one is Proverbs 18, verse 21. "The tongue has the power of life and death. Those who love it will eat the fruit of it." I want you to keep these scriptures in mind as we are going through this session. It's a short session. Sally has covered most of the aspects that I would have loved to cover. So looking back to yourself as an individual and the time when you were a child, do you remember those certain moments when you were like that? I hope you do. Because today I want to take you through a journey whereby you connect to that kind of person, where life is just what it is. Where I'll just sing at the top of my voice, just stretch up and just bounce everywhere and do whatever that I'm doing. The child within, connecting with the self, you as a child. Because as parents, when we are raising confident learners or confident children, we are the ones that we are at the center of their academic success, but also success in overall life in general. There's a picture in the second slide that I just want us to just look at. Sally touched on the happenings of family life when we're getting ready for school. He or she comes with, "Oh, mom, project this and that, and teacher said I must do this, and then that one must be done, and it's only coming now in the morning. Why haven't we heard this yesterday? What is going on? The lunch, it's packed. Yes, it's packed. And then what about the project that we're expecting for science and so forth?" All of these things is like a project. It's like now we're coming together. Dad, do this. Mom, do that. Oh, your brother, are your shoes on? It's a whole chaotic moment in the morning when we're going to school, right? So obviously it's not like this for everybody and every day, but there are moments where we feel like, it's just chaotic. Everything is just all over the show. I promise you, Sally and I didn't sit together and plan these the presentation. Because as she was talking, I'm like, girl, you're talking about what I'm going to share, but it's okay. So we come to see that for children, the voice of the child, the inner voice of the child, is built or developed through the connection that they have with you as a parent. I've picked on Kano already. Can I pick on, who must I pick on? Vunene is busy. Puro, so please just grab that bag over there. So the voice of a child that grows within, we come to learn that the child grows in that voice within themselves due to the roles and interactions that we have with each other. So they get to learn to be curious, they get to learn to explore life and explore the world, and that is how learning takes place. It's because 87% of a child's development, we see that it develops by the time they are age 5. 87% of it. So before they are age 5, that brain has developed. And I seen a mommy here, she's carrying a beautiful gift in her belly. And it starts from that point on. From the moment the child is conceived, your interaction as not only mom, but also dad, how you connect with that child, it has an impact on the development of our child. So what are we going to do today? We're just going to quickly go through our overlook of emotional foundation. When we're looking at emotional foundation, we're looking at how we are able to build the inner strength of the child's emotional safety. We're also going to have a look at how the building of emotional foundation has an impact on academic growth and development. That is where we're looking at nurturing a child's curiosity, which Sally also just covered, in order to develop their growth mindset, right? And then we're going to go through relational strength, which encompasses everything all together, where now we are seeing the importance of the deepening of connections between parents and children. So, Puluso, if you can just wear that backpack and stand here for us. Our children carry more than just books to school. Apela, you are a school child, you must look like one. There you go. Have you ever seen them with those big bags? Some of them, they come up to you and there's this little tiny person carrying this huge bag. Books and everything. I had a client who came with 2 bags. I'm like, why do you need 2 bags for school? It's like, my books can't fit into 1 bag. But my dad says he's going to buy me another one. I'm like, that one that goes all the way. He's like, yeah, that one. Because now there's a lot. It's textbooks on the other. It's, what do you call them? Notebooks on the other one. I'm like, hey, my boy, you've got a lot. So here is Puluso depicting as a child who is going to school. It's not just books only in there. Ne? We are walking around, or let me say our children are walking around, not only carrying books, but they're carrying expectations. I'm going to school, teacher has an expectation of me. Mom and dad have expectations of me. They're carrying comparisons. Johnny is able to write A like this, and I can only write it like this. Lauren is able to jump high when we're doing sports, but I have not been able to learn how to do that. So those comparisons that they have about themselves, they also carry fear sometimes. I'm afraid that if I'm not done with my homework in time, teacher's going to be angry and upset at me. Sometimes even fear from mom and dad about whatever that happened and transpired at school. They carry pressure from peers, pressure from teachers, pressures from us. And then there's a whole aspect of marks, that my marks must be up. I got 80%. Oh, I did better than Sbongile. I did, all of these things. I'm telling you things that I hear at home. She did very well. Oh, I did my poetry today, but Sia needs to do it tomorrow because he was not here for school. There's also that element of perfection that our children are carrying. So when you see your child going to school, either in foundation, primary, or high school, they are not just carrying their books. This is all the emotional aspects that they are taking with them through life. Thank you, Poloso. So what are we seeing? We are seeing that for a child to learn and develop, there are certain elements and levels at which confidence needs to form, and it would need to perform. All right. I've just realized that there's a pointer in here. I forgot to use it. Are we still good? Thank you. All right. So the first one is the home environment. That is where it starts. It starts at home. In order for my child to be confident and well-equipped to do what they do best, it starts at home. And at home, that's where their inner voice of who they are, what they can do, develops and grows. So whether I see myself as a positive individual who's able and capable, it all depends on how I am viewed at home. Because I'm taking what I've gained from home, I'm taking it out there in the environment. And as a result, it has an impact on how I believe in myself. And because of the level that I have, or the level of belief that I have on myself, it will determine the approach that I have towards challenges and difficulties that I face out there. And through that, I will be able to learn the level of confidence that I will be able to achieve. So if I don't have that belief in myself, and I believe that this is how far I can reach, then therefore that's how far I will reach, because at home, that is what was instilled within me. All right? And all of that has an overall impact on our child's academic functioning and improvement in life. So academic success is often what we see, is often what is visible. We often don't see the invisible emotional experiences that are behind the academic success. So your child's inner voice is very, very important. Now, we've come to learn in the recent years about emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've seen on the internet, people are talking about being more woke to the spirituality out there. And now in that whole concept and narrative, we are learning the value of emotional intelligence. It's floating a lot within relationship talk. But I also want us to bring it to the importance of emotional intelligence, the development of it within a child, okay? So what are we talking about when we're talking about emotional intelligence? We're talking about a child's ability to be able to recognize, seeing, with my eyes, and also understand, which is internally, the emotions that I see, all right? Not only in others, but within myself. Not only there, we don't stop there, it's also about managing those emotions internally within ourselves. How does that come about? It comes about with self-awareness. What are you, mom and dad, teaching me in terms of my self-awareness? Self-regulation. What am I seeing and what am I learning from you, mom and dad, on how I can regulate my emotions, as well as empathy? How am I learning from mom and dad on how to be empathetic around people around me and the way I interact with others? So empathy, it has to do with understanding of another person's feelings, right? And I believe that we learn that a lot from our children, because as we grow up, we tend to forget the importance of empathy. And our children will remind us, Mom, that's not nice. Dad, that's not a nice word. Oh, did Lauren not say a bad word today and it made me feel hurt? So our children really teach us to go back into that level. And that is why it's important, as Sally indicated, that when we communicate with them, if we really want to get into touch with the development of their inner voice, you come to the level of a child. Always, always important. Come to the level of a child. I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking with you. All right? Because now, at that level, we are connecting. I'm connecting with what you feel. I'm connecting with what you are experiencing. I'm also connecting with what I want to share with you regarding life challenges, whatever it is that you are facing at that moment in time. I think Sally has covered some of the aspects that are very important there. So your child's inner voice is important because it helps, or it teaches us that children feel emotionally safe when they are brave enough to learn. So when I'm not feeling brave enough to learn something, there's a possibility that I won't do well in it. So that little one over there was, she'll come and say, but I don't know it. I'm like, yeah, you don't know it now, but this is the opportunity for you to start knowing it. Now let's start. What do you know? No, this is A for apple. This is T for Tom. Right? And then let's say it together. Act. Now we are knowing it. You see, you can do it. But at first we're throwing a tantrum. I'm like, I don't know it. And it's a whole thing. And that is where we see the whole aspect of what kind of a child are we raising? A child who is feeling insecure about themselves? A child who is feeling disorganized about themselves, or a child who is feeling secure in terms of how they relate with themselves and the world around them. All right? So that is a concept of attachment. How are they relating with self and others? So the inner voice is also developed through the building of emotional safety. Validating my feelings, right? So I don't know it. So at the moment you're feeling like you don't know it and it's feeling overwhelming. So those are the feelings that you are feeling, right? And then when you are moving that from validating their feelings before we offer solutions. So before I offer that solution, let me acknowledge what the situation is now. Because that is how we learn emotional intelligence. Okay? So let's connect with the now. What is it that's going on now? So I validate those feelings that you are feeling. And then we are creating that space that will allow that emotions to just be there within. So let's make it a process that we can just unpack those emotions. But also, we are modeling vulnerability and the ability to be honest with your expression. So let's be vulnerable. Often at times when our children are throwing tantrums, and our instinct is to stop that tantrum and not to acknowledge what is happening. What is the cause of the tantrum? Where are you at? So, stop it right now. That's the usual response that is triggered within us in order to stop that misconduct, that misbehavior, or whatever it is that the child is feeling. We forget that importance of validating those feelings, that yes, I see you are feeling all over right now. You're feeling out of control. It's overwhelming for you. So Sally, help us to remember that even the big words we can even learn through acknowledging that they can be used. We are using them. We don't end at goo goo gaga and boo boo. We are growing that pyramid of language development. And because the language of feelings is growing, therefore we are able to grow emotionally. So now we learn that I cannot do this yet. It's not I cannot do this. I could do it it's yet, because I am learning. So how I help the little one at home, because she's got difficulties with concentration and attention, I tell her that when you sit down to do your homework, you speak to your brain. Brain, we are doing homework, it's time to learn. That helps her to center into the activities that she's doing at that time. And I can do it because I am learning. I am learning. That is the language that we are teaching there. Moving on to academic achievement. So Mom and Dad, are we seeing the importance of the relationship in building the child's inner voice. And now that we're transitioning into academic achievement, that inner voice that my child has will determine the level of progression that my child will progress in at school also. All right? So I want us to reflect just a moment right now, especially when we were growing up. What did achievement, that word achievement, what did it mean for you at home, the home that you grew up in? When you think about the word achievement, what did it mean at home? When you were growing up and you were doing your work, schoolwork, finishing that course, reaching those 80s and 60s and so forth, what it meant for you is exactly that at that time. And I would like to present it that often at times, the focus is a lot on marks. The focus is a lot often at times at, my child is the best in rugby and, is the best scorer and all of that. So it's that's usually the focus. It's all about what is it that my child in their school, when we go for parent-teacher meetings and they're clapping hands and I want my child to be number one, right? So usually that was the focus. I remember in the community, I don't know, in IBE schools and other curriculum, how they used to do it. But I know in rural communities, there used to be top 5, top 10. I'm in the top 10 of the grade. I'm in the top 5 of the class. That was achievement for most people back in the days. And if you were not there, often people would see themselves as nothing, as less than, because I'm not there. And when you speak to people who are not in those top 10s and the top 5s, you see that sense of self-worthlessness, feelings of despair, like I don't care. And most of the time, those same people are the same ones that are in the corners somewhere there, smoking something, dabbling in a little something, or they are beating up another child somewhere there because I'm not achieving academically as per the status quo of how it's defined at that time. So today I bring it to you that let us change our view by balancing the pressure, so-called pressure of achievement with capacity. When we're talking about capacity, we're talking about my skills, my abilities, what I'm able and capable to do, right? But what I'm able and capable of doing is also determined or is based on the quality of the person that I am. And how do we achieve that? Did I get enough sleep? Or am I now expected to study the whole night through so that I can achieve top 5? Let's balance it out. We are studying, but we are also resting. We are eating well. There's also that emotional safety. And where does it start? At home. Well done, Funo. You're doing very well. Keep it up. Now I'm going to give you some tea or hot chocolate or whatever. Just take a break and then you can come back. We are balancing things out, right? Not study hard. Did you bring that assignment? I must read it through and make sure that you have done it very well. That's the pressure. It's not meeting the requirements of my mom or my dad in order for me, when they come to parent-teacher meetings, they must see me going up there carrying the 7 trophies. And a child who doesn't get those trophies feel as though they are not achieving academically. So we are in need to balance those scales because it is important that when they are balanced, we now reach a level of growth mindset. Remember, the language that is within me, that you have instilled in me as a parent, it determines the nature in which I approach my learning, my development. And that, in essence, it gears me towards having a growth mindset and not judging myself for not being able to be part of the top 5s or the top 10s, but knowing that I am doing my best and I am achieving at the best that I can. Because the best of what I can do is what we are aiming for. Because I'm growing. I always tell mom and dads, no matter how old your child is, we are still growing. Our minds are still growing. So I am learning, right, is the word we want to develop. Embracing the challenges and seeing them, that they are there, they do come. Not that when I see challenges, I must run away and find a spot where there are no challenges. I need to embrace them because through challenges, I grow. Okay? Which is what I do with the little one at home. If we are able to do this, let's try this one. And then when she's running away, she's like, no, teacher said we must just end right there. I'm like, but I know you can do that one. I know you are very good at this because now you're good at that. I want you to try that one. So we want to face those challenges and embrace them. And also persist even when there are setbacks. So now I wrote my science exam or I wrote my science test. I got 50. My aim was 80. I didn't get the 80. It's okay. What happened that I couldn't get the 80? What happened? What is it that is missing in my knowledge? Oh no, I missed a test of so-and-so, or when teacher was teaching. It's an all aspect. And also just to touch in there that some of our children, mom and dad, in developing our growth mindsets, we need to be aware of what we call learning deficiencies. Okay? Learning deficiencies or difficulties is, I have difficulties with spelling. For instance, me standing here with the masters and all, hey, spelling, guys, don't ask me to spell anything. And if you do see spelling mistakes, don't worry, it's me. So learning difficulties are those things that cause a barrier to learning, right? And we are privileged to find ourselves in a situation whereby our school systems have acknowledged that there are what we call barriers to learning that we need to now address in order to help Claudie to do her best and be at her best. But now, we might address those barriers to learning. However, I'm still coming from an environment whereby I'm not welcomed with my challenges. I'm not supported. The inner voice that is being developed within me is one of, you are not good enough. How come Sipho is doing better than you? All of those things that make me feel as though, even in the areas of challenges that I have, I cannot be at my best. So what are the barriers to learning? I told you about spelling. There's also reading, where I have difficulties with reading. I think we know that one, dyslexia. Ne? Difficulties with mathematics. Okay, they call it dyscalculia. It means that numbers, they baffle me. If you're a Claudie, numbers, you blink 50 times and they're like, oh, right? Those are challenges that that affect our learning potential or learning ability. So it's spelling, reading, maths. Okay, those are the ones that I can remember at the top of my head. So those are the ones that we address most of the time if your child is capable but struggling. So there's a capability that you can, but there's certain elements that are there that are affecting you. And therefore, if we've got a growth mindset, we are able to say, okay, yes, you have a challenge with reading. So therefore, because you have a challenge with reading during your exams, teacher so-and-so is going to read for you so that you understand what you are reading, writing in your exams, and then you are able to reach at your potential because you can do it, right? If you're a Claudie who's struggling with spelling, and if the spelling is so bad, when Claudie has assessed you, that is where we say, okay, teachers, let's not pay too much attention on Claudie's spelling. Is she still grasping the concepts, the information? Are they still presented? So now with a growth mindset, I'm able to say, I can do this. I can perform it. I just need to continue learning. Mom and dad are going to help me at home. Teachers is going to help me at school. The support is there. All right? Are we still together? So it's the kind of language that we build with our children, as well as the habits that stick. So what habits that can stick? In having some form of routine, in being able to start small, as well as presenting a persona of being present as a parent and not trying to say, reach for perfection. If you're not perfect enough, therefore you are not good enough. But your presence is more important. Okay? So what are we learning here? We're learning that failure is not the opposite of success. In actual part, it actually is forming part of the path in which we are walking with our children. So when our children see failure, we want them not to see it as a setback. We want them to see it as a possibility or an opportunity to develop resilience and grow in every stage of their life. So mom and dad, we are learning that it's important to connect with your child. We are learning that it's important to have that relationship with your child, because the home is where the child learns first. So whenever there is a challenge, we pause, we connect, we validate, we guide. I've covered that, right? We pause. Let's say it together. We pause. We connect. We validate. We guide. And in guiding, it's very important to hear from your child, what do you think we can do? Let's hear. Because often at times we think we are grown and all that and we know life, but hey, those little ones, even them teens, there's a lot we can learn from them. So as a parent, mom and dad, it's not about being perfect, but it's about being emotionally available. Communication is what is important, and Sally has covered that, which is very, very important. That I'm not just listening to you to hear what you have to say, I'm listening to understand where you are coming from. Let's name it. Name that feeling. Sad, happy, frustrated. Use those words. You can even share your own stories if there are any. All right? So that is important. So your role, mom and dad, at times when you are relating with your child, it's important that when my child thinks of me, they think of a safe haven. When my child thinks of me, they run from school having achieved one of their milestones because they know mom and dad are going to cheerlead for me. It's, well done. Keep it up. You know, when my child looks at me in terms of how they relate to the world, they see a mirror, because I'm mirroring what life is in general. Because it's important, mom and dad, to remember that they are looking at us. They are watching. Sometimes we do things in the corner. We fight with dad. We are, in our language, we call it kwepaning. You're scratching at each other's emotions and feelings, and we're doing it at the bottom of our breath. And we think they don't see. They are watching. We are their mirrors on how to approach life, on how to manage challenges. So it's very, very important that you are aware of that role. I want to skip to the task of the tree. If you've got pencils and a paper, otherwise please use your beautiful imaginations. I will guide you through it. Those who know me will know that I love the concept of the tree. It's something very important to me. Are you ready for me to take you through it? All right, think about a tree. You see that one? with roots. Do you see the roots? I hope you can see them. Do you see the roots, how nice and big they are, and they are stretching forth? It reminds me of Psalm 1, I think it's verse 3, like a tree that is planted by the, we are in church. What does it do? It yields. Kano is there. Mom and Dad, it yields fruit in season. That is beautiful. So now that tree is big. Can you see how big it is? Do we see the trunk? Sturdy and strong, ne? And the leaves, are they brown and withery? They're there, they're lush, beautiful, ne? Now let's go back to the ground where the roots are. What else do we see? Yeah, Mama goes. I see Mama. Small little saplings, ne? All right. Keep that in mind if you don't have a pen or a paper. Now on your paper, I want you to draw a tree. Similar to that one, have some roots quickly, just a tree with nice roots, big roots, and a nice trunk, and some branches and leaves. And because it's your tree, you can decide whether it's an apple tree, a peach tree, or you decide. Okay? Right. I'm just going to give you a few seconds. It does not need to be all perfect, especially if you're an artist. We're just running through it quickly. All right. In order for trees to grow or a plant to grow, it needs to be planted in the right soil. What do trees need in order to grow? Hands up. Water, soil, sunlight. Let's focus on the ground. What do we need in there? Fertile soil. What constitutes fertile soil? Healthy. What else is in there? Nutrients for the tree, right? So there are certain nutrients in the ground that are important for the tree in order for it to grow. Now, because the tree needs those nutrients, where do the roots go? Towards the nutrients, right? So if I need water, my roots will go to the water. If I need those different nutrients that I don't know of, I'm not sure if it's zinc or whatever, or phosphate, I don't know, but it will go to that. And if those are missing, the tree will continue growing those roots looking for that. Okay? So now on your tree, I want you to think about yourself as you were growing. What kind of nutrients do you think you needed as a child growing? All right, let me hear 3. Anybody? What did you need? You are a child who's growing. Yes, Mama. Encouragement. Stability. Yes, Mama. Support. Attention. Yes. Health. Health, ne? Love. Sorry, Mama, I didn't hear you. So I even put here, just to encompass everything, it's emotional safety, which is the love, the attention, right? Connection, encouragement, the structure that is needed. Because remember, when a tree is growing, the strength comes from the roots. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that when the wind comes, we are still holding on because the roots are strong. Ne? When those challenges come, we're still there. I will bend like that reed, but then I will stand up later because we're good. The roots are strong. All right? Okay, now we're moving to the trunk. The trunk is what holds the tree up. I was shopping, I think yesterday, and I saw a little gadget. It's a flexible thing. And I'm like, what is this? And then I read the label. It's a thingamabob. It's like an alien. It holds a plant to stay upright. Hey, the things we see these days. But if we've got a nice, good, strong trunk, the tree is able to stay upright. So I want you to think and write. What are the things in your life when you were a growing child that kept you sturdy and strong? You can write 5. All right. Anyone wants to share? What kept you sturdy and strong as a growing little tree when you were growing? Anybody? Yes, Mama. Yes, support from parents. Anybody else? Yes, Mama. Validation. So that speaks back to our inner voice. Remember that inner voice? Yes, that inner voice will determine when challenges comes and blowing like that wind that was blowing in that video, if I'm able to come back up again and stay sturdy and strong. Then we've got branches. I hope your tree has a few branches, right? Those branches, they are getting what is down there through the trunk all the way up, right? I'm not sure if your tree is a peach or what is it? Avocado. Whatever tree it is getting it from there and all the way to the branches. So I want you to think of the branches as those words of affirmation that are pulling all the way up to your fruits. So remember, a tree that is planted in the right place, it yields fruit in season, right? So what kind of a fruit are we going to see when we have those strong and sturdy branches? Those strong and sturdy branches are my ability to be able to ask for help when I need. I'm strengthened, right? We are pulling from the source. I'm able to ask for help. I'm able to problem solve because I'm planted in the right place, which has taught me the skills of being able to problem solve. I'm able to persist. I'm able to even be independent in certain instances where I need to be because I've been planted in the right place. I'm drawing from the right source, which teaches me that I can do this. I can try this by myself, right? What fruits do we see? This is where you see academic success, Mom and Dad. This is where we see academic success, not as per percentage or level 7. I don't know if there's a level higher than 7. No, it's academic success. All right, with resilience, good self-esteem, emotional regulation. All right, okay. So we're going to go to the last slide, if I'm not mistaken, where we're going to do a quick action plan. Again, you are writing. I will lead you in case your eyes are as good as mine. The first one, I want you to choose one phrase that you are going to change. So if your phrase is, man, Claudie, keep quiet, what are you going to change? So what phrase are you going to start trying to use more often with your child? Just choose one. Second, if your daily activities with your children are quite busy, I want you to think of a time in a day which you can set aside for family or connection. Third, I'm sure you also come from families whereby you ask your child, how was school today? And then the answer is, I'm fine, it was fine. So now we need to learn to be more open-ended in terms of getting the in-depth that Sally was talking about, the language, the exploration, where we now get into it. So what was the best thing about school today? what today about school was quite challenging for you? So now we want to get the info. So it's not how was school, but more of the what kind of a question. So just think about one question that you're going to start practicing with your child to ask in order to get the more language intensive and more connective kind of interaction with your child. And the last task is for you as a mom and a dad to just have that moment where you name an emotion rather than just floating by through it or being stern around it. So name your emotion. So in closing, I want you to remember that the greatest gift that you can give your child is to believe in who they are becoming. Because you are making a difference in order for them to keep thriving. They can never thrive without your support and guidance as their parents. All right. Have a lovely day. We are still together. Thank you so much for your time.